The Awakening of Humanity. The Galactic Federation had ruled the stars for so long that history itself felt like dust under their claws. Thousands of civilizations bowed before them, some willingly, others by force. To them, time was endless, and power eternal. Among their records lay an old story, one they laughed at whenever it was told, the story of humans. Humans, they said, were a primitive species from a blue planet called Earth. They had risen quickly, burned brightly for a few centuries, then disappeared. Some claimed they had destroyed themselves in wars. Others said disease or chaos ended them. A few romantic voices whispered that perhaps humanity had gone into hiding. But for the Federation, it was all the same. Humanity was gone, forgotten, nothing more than a myth to frighten children, until the year 870,000 AD. The first signs it began as a flicker on deep space scanners. A dead star system, one that had been silent for millions of years, suddenly gave off strange energy readings. Federation observers reported a planet glowing faintly beneath layers of dust and ice. That planet was Earth. At first, the Federation ignored it. Old worlds sometimes glitched on scanners, but then the signals grew stronger. Rhythms, pulses, structured code. A nervous officer presented the report to his admiral. "Sir, the dead world is speaking." The admiral laughed, tossing the data aside. "Nonsense. That world is a grave. Ghosts do not speak." But the signals did not stop. The awakening, deep beneath Earth's crust, far below the oceans that had long frozen into glaciers, massive vaults opened. Machines older than empires roared back to life. Entire cities hidden under mountains of rock lit up for the first time in hundreds of thousands of years. And from these vaults stepped humans. But they were not the humans the galaxy remembered. These were taller, stronger, eyes glowing faint, with engineered light. Their minds connected instantly with machines as if flesh and steel had merged long ago. They did not speak at first. They did not announce their return. They simply began to move. Orbital stations rose from the shadows. Starships, black and silent, powered up as if they had been sleeping. Massive cannons hummed with energy no one in the galaxy could name. The silence of Earth had ended. Humanity was awake. The Federation's mockery when news reached the Federation, the council chamber erupted in laughter. Humans? Impossible. They were erased long ago. If they return, we will crush them. Again. Delegates smirked, their voices filled with arrogance. They remembered the old tales of humanity as a small, fragile race. To them, this was nothing more than a dying flame sparking one last time. The Federation sent scout fleets to confirm. Small ships glided toward Earth, their crews expecting only ruins. But they did not return. A strange transmission. One surviving. Probe managed to send back a single message before its signal was cut. The transmission was short, simple, and chilling. 2 words glowed across the Federation screens. "We remember." The chamber fell silent. For the first time in thousands of years, fear crept into the hearts of the rulers of the galaxy. Humanity stirs high above Earth. The first human warship emerged from the void. Its size dwarfed the Federation's cruisers. Its hull was black, sharp-edged, lined with glowing patterns of energy. It looked less like a machine and more like something alive. Inside, human commanders stood on the bridge, their voices calm, their faces cold. They spoke in words that had not been heard in the galaxy for almost 1,000,000 years. Status? All systems functional. Fleet awakening? Yes, Admiral. The stars will know us again. The ship turned its nose toward the black sea of space, engines igniting with a roar that echoed across the void. Behind it, dozens of others powered up one after another, until the skies above Earth were filled with shadows of steel. The Federation watches. Across the galaxy, the Federation's fleets began to move. Admirals barked orders. Armadas gathered. Near border worlds, spies whispered of ghost fleets rising around Earth. Still, most of the Federation laughed. "They are only myths," one delegate scoffed. Even if they live, they are only one world. But the nervous voices kept growing. One world may be enough. They were dangerous before. What if they are something else now? The Federation refused to believe. But belief would not matter. The silent threat as Earth's fleets left orbit. They broadcast no demands, no threats, no speeches. Only silence. And in that silence, the galaxy felt something it had not felt in ages. Dread. Humanity had returned, not begging, not bowing. Awake, and the Federation would soon learn what that truly meant. Forgotten. No more. For countless ages, the Galactic Federation had spoken of humans as if they were dust. In schools, alien teachers told young ones, humanity was a mistake. They rose too fast, fought too much, and destroyed themselves. In markets, traders laughed, selling false relics of Earth as curiosities. In the grand chambers of the Federation, leaders waved away any mention of humans with a sneer. Primitive, fragile, extinct. But now, whispers were spreading. Whispers that would not die. The ghosts' return Federation probes vanished one after another near the Sol system. Entire scout ships entered human space and never returned. Soldiers on border posts spoke in hushed voices. I saw them. Black ships, silent as shadows. At first, no one believed. How could humanity, extinct for nearly 1,000,000 years, reappear? But then came the recordings. Flickering images stolen before transmissions cut out. Strange ships rising above Earth, their hulls glowing with patterns unknown. Energy readings so high they bent the scanners into static. The Federation laughed, nervously. Old tricks, clever illusions. But beneath the laughter, fear began to stir. Humanity's secret past in the silence of their vaults, humans remembered. Long ago, when wars consumed Earth and alien empires pressed at their borders, they had chosen a different path. Instead of burning out, they withdrew. They built deep sanctuaries under their oceans, beneath their crust and beyond their moon. They placed themselves in stasis not to escape, but to wait. They waited through ice ages, through star shifts, through the rise and fall of alien dynasties. They slept while others mocked. They dreamed while the Federation ruled, and in their silence they changed. Machines became part of them. Flesh and steel merged. Their minds grew sharper, faster, bound together through networks invisible to alien eyes. Humanity had not died. It had evolved. The Federation's arrogance in the council hall, delegates debated. They are only one planet. We are thousands. They hide in shadows because they are weak. We will crush them before they rise too far. The council voted and fleets were prepared. Admirals smirked as they polished their weapons. For the Federation, humanity was still a joke. But far from the chamber, others were not so sure. A few old races remembered the wars of the past. They remembered how humanity had fought with desperation, with fire in their hearts that no empire could quite extinguish. They should have vanished, an elder whispered to his kin. Yet they return. That is no mistake. A silent signal, then, came the message. It spread across frequencies at once, simple and sharp, written in ancient human code. We are awake. Nothing more. The galaxy froze. It was not a plea, not a threat. It was a fact. First encounters, the Federation, confident in its power, sent a battle group toward Earth, 50 ships strong, bristling with weapons. They expected to find ruins, perhaps a few old machines left behind by ghosts. Instead, they found silence. At the edge of the Sol system, their sensors picked up shadows moving against the stars. Black ships, larger than anything in Federation records, slid from the void. Their engines glowed faintly, blue-white fire bending the darkness around. Them the Federation commander scoffed. Primitive tricks, fire on them. Cannons lit the void, missiles streaked forward, beams of energy flashed. For a moment, the galaxy seemed to shake with fire, and then the black ships moved. One by one, the Federation's weapons winked out. Missiles vanished mid-flight, swallowed by invisible barriers. Beams of energy bent away, scattering like light on water. The humans did not fire. They only advanced slow and unstoppable. The Federation commander's laughter cracked. His crew whispered in panic. And then, without a word, every system on their ships died. Engines went cold, weapons went dark, screens turned black. In the silence, a human voice came over the comms. Calm, cold, forgotten no more. Then the transmission ended, and the Federation ships floated powerless until human shadows passed them by. Fear spreads. When fragments of the battle group limped back, their reports shook the Federation. They shut us down, as if our ships were toys. They did not even need to fire. They let us live so we could carry the message, delegates shouted in disbelief. Some called it lies, others demanded full war. But deep inside, fear was spreading. Across the stars, ordinary beings whispered in markets and homes. The humans live. They are stronger now. The Federation cannot stop them. Humanity watches. On Earth's flagship, the human admiral stood with hands folded behind his back. His officers reported calmly. The Federation knows now. Good, the admiral said. His eyes glowed faintly with the light of his augmented mind. Let them speak of us. Let them tremble. We need no speeches. We only need silence. He looked out at the fleet, row after row of ships awakening from their long sleep. The galaxy has forgotten us, he whispered. But forgetting is over. The Federation will remember, and with that, the fleet began to move. Clash with the Federation. The Galactic Federation had never feared a single world before. Their fleets stretched across the stars, their armies numbered in the billions. Their rule had lasted longer than some suns had burned. To them, Earth was still only one planet, one extinct race daring to rise again. And so they gathered their answer. Armadas formed at the edges of human space. Thousands of ships, dreadnoughts, carriers, cruisers, each glowing with the power of civilizations that had dominated the galaxy for ages. Admirals stood proud on their command decks, certain the humans would vanish like smoke. They think they frighten us with shadows, one alien commander sneered. We will erase them completely this time. The Federation did not whisper. They announced their strike to the galaxy. They wanted everyone to see humanity crushed, but they had forgotten one lesson of history. Humanity never bowed quietly. The gathering storm at the edge of Sol, where the old borders of human space once ended, the fleets met. Federation ships covered, the stars in shining arcs like a wall of fire closing in. Their comm channels buzzed with arrogance. This will be over in minutes. They will not even fire back. Ghosts should stay dead. And then the human fleet arrived. Out of the void, black ships slid forward, silent and precise. Their hulls gleamed with sharp lines. Their engines burned blue-white. Unlike the Federation armadas, there were no bright banners, no proud signals, no arrogance. Only silence. The silence was louder than any war cry. The first shots, the Federation fired first. They unleashed everything at once: plasma beams, kinetic rounds, missiles, firepower so bright it turned the dark into a false dawn. The void shook, stars hidden behind the storm of weapons. But when the light cleared, the human fleet still advanced. Their shields bent the beams aside, scattering them into harmless light. Missiles vanished mid-flight, torn apart by invisible fields. The humans did not break formation, they did not rush. They moved like predators who knew the prey had already lost. Federation crews shouted in panic. Impossible. Their defenses should have failed. The human admiral stood calm on his bridge. His eyes glowed faint, his voice soft. Return fire. Humanity unleashed. The first human shot tore through the void. It was not light, nor plasma, nor missile. It was something new, an energy that bent space itself. A beam that tore holes in reality. A Federation dreadnought, proud and massive, vanished in a burst of white silence. No explosion, no wreckage, simply gone. Panic erupted. The Federation tried to regroup, But the humans fired again. Ship after ship fell. Cruisers crumbled, carriers split in two, fighters turned to dust. "Stay together!" Federation commanders screamed. But their fleets were already breaking. Human ships blinked in and out of sight, striking from impossible angles. Railguns shredded through hulls with surgical precision. Missiles that folded space found their targets no matter where they ran. The Federation had come to crush ghosts. Instead, they were being erased. Voices of terror across comm channels. Alien voices screamed, "They are not fighting, they are erasing us. Nothing can stop them. This is not war, this is annihilation." Some tried to flee. Others begged for mercy. But the humans did not answer. They spoke only through fire. The Admiral gave no speeches, no gloating. His voice carried only commands. Target engines. Target command ships. Leave survivors enough to spread the story. And so the humans struck with purpose. Not to destroy every vessel, but to carve fear into the Federation's heart. Survivors were allowed to limp away, their ships burning, their voices carrying across the galaxy the message humanity wanted spoken. The galaxy watches, billions across alien worlds, saw the battle unfold on broadcasts. For the first time in generations, the Federation was losing. Their proud fleets were reduced to ash by an enemy they had declared extinct. Markets froze, soldiers hesitated, politicians trembled. The myth of Federation invincibility had shattered in a single battle. Whispers began everywhere. The humans are back. The Federation cannot stop them. What happens when they reach our worlds? Fear spread faster than light. Humanity's silence. When the Federation armada finally broke apart, the humans did not chase every ship. They did not roar in triumph. They simply stopped. Their fleet hung silent above the battlefield, black shapes glowing faintly in the wreckage of fallen empires. The human admiral looked across the ruined void. His voice was calm. Message to the galaxy. Let them know this was their choice. They came to erase us. Instead, they have been reminded. Humanity has returned. The message spread, short and simple, but heavier than any fleet. The end of arrogance. On distant worlds, survivors wept. In the council chamber, leaders screamed at one, another blaming, denying, fearing. But deep down they all knew. The Federation had been crushed instantly, its arrogance broken forever, and the humans had not even shown their full strength. For the first time in hundreds of thousands of years, the galaxy trembled. And above it, all silent and cold humanity moved forward. The galaxy trembles. The battlefield was silent now. Where once thousands of Federation ships had burned bright, only wreckage drifted in the void. Shattered hulls spun slowly, glowing with dying fire. Fragments of proud banners floated like torn cloth in the endless night. Humanity's fleet did not cheer. They did not sing. They simply moved past the ruins, their black hulls reflecting the light of destruction like mirrors of judgment. The galaxy trembled. Whispers across the stars' news traveled faster than light, carried on broken transmissions, and terrified survivors. On every colony, on every world, the same story spread. The humans destroyed an entire armada. The Federation's greatest ships fell in minutes. They fight like no one else. They fight like silence itself. On icy moons, miners dropped their tools to listen to the rumors. On desert worlds, merchants closed their markets early, whispering fearfully to one another. Children on water planets huddled together, repeating the story as if it were a nightmare. If you laugh at the humans, they come in the dark. What had been arrogance only days ago was now dread. The name of humanity was no longer forgotten. It was everywhere. The council in panic in the grand chamber of the Federation. Chaos reigned. Delegates shouted over one another, their voices desperate. They cannot be allowed to continue. They have already broken our fleets. We must unite or we will all fall. But others whispered darker truths. We cannot unite, they are too strong. The council leader, his shell glowing dimly, slammed his claw against the floor. "Silence!" he roared, but even his voice cracked. His eyes betrayed fear. In the corner, one delegate whispered, trembling, "Perhaps We should surrender. The chamber gasped. The word had never been spoken in Federation halls. Surrender was for the weak, for the conquered. Yet now, even the proud felt it curl in their throats. But pride fought back. Another delegate hissed, "Never. They are one world, nothing more. They cannot defeat us all." Yet deep inside, they all knew the truth. They had seen the fleets burn. The assassin's secret far from the council, human intelligence had completed their investigation. In the vaults of their flagship, officers gathered around a flickering projection. The assassin's face appeared, grainy but clear enough. It was no rogue killer, no mercenary. It was the soldier of a Federation faction, armed, trained, and protected by the Council itself. The assassination of Earth's leader had not been chance. It had been order. The human admiral stared at the image. His jaw tightened. His voice was cold. They killed him to keep us weak. They thought his death would erase us. Instead, it has awakened something they cannot stop. His officers nodded in silence. The truth was heavier than any weapon. The Federation had betrayed Earth, and now it would pay. Survivors speak, the few. Federation ships that limped back from battle carried more fear than weapons. Their crews, broken and shaking, told their stories to anyone who would listen. They erased us as if we were nothing. They did not even use full force. They let us live only so we would spread the story. The survivors' words carried across the galaxy. Soon, no one trusted the Federation's strength. Colonies once loyal began to whisper of rebellion. Minor species who had been crushed under the Council's rule now looked toward Earth with cautious hope or terrified respect. Humanity's silence, yet humanity made no demands, no conquests, no declarations of war. Their fleets hung silent at the edge of Federation space, black and cold, waiting. This silence terrified the galaxy more than any threat could, because no one knew what the humans wanted. No one knew when they would strike again. Would they march on the Council homeworld? Would they shatter more fleets? Or would they simply watch, letting fear do the work for them? The uncertainty gnawed at empires more than defeat itself. Division in the Federation. Behind closed doors, the Federation split apart. Some argued for peace. Some argued for vengeance. Old rivalries deepened. Trust crumbled. One faction whispered, "If we beg for peace, perhaps the humans will spare us." Another snarled, "If we build new weapons, perhaps we can still fight." But the galaxy had already seen the truth. Humanity did not need numbers. They did not need allies. Their silence alone had broken the Federation's unity. The Admiral's oath on the flagship above Earth, the human admiral stood before his officers. The stars shone behind him, endless and cold. "They think this is over," he said softly. "They think we have already delivered our vengeance. But this is only the beginning. They will tremble not because of what we do next, but because they know we can." His officers stood straighter. His voice carried not rage, but certainty. The galaxy laughed when we vanished. Now it trembles because we are awake. Let them remember this fear. Let them remember it for all eternity. The fleet engines glowed brighter. The trembling stars across the galaxy. Silence spread. Armies hesitated to move. Worlds feared to speak. The Federation was no longer feared as rulers. Humanity was feared as something greater. The stars themselves seemed to watch in unease, waiting for the next strike. Humanity had returned, and the galaxy trembled. The legend of 870,000 AD. The stars never forgot silence again. After the Federation's fleets fell, after the survivors whispered their terror, the galaxy lived in constant unease. Worlds that had once mocked humanity now spoke their name with trembling voices. The Federation, once proud and eternal, was broken not by words but by fear. Humanity had returned, but their return was not like others. They did not conquer planets. They did not demand tribute. They did not stand in the council chamber to claim the throne. Instead, they remained silent, their black fleets watching from the edge of Federation space, engines glowing like the eyes of sleeping giants. The silence became the loudest sound in the galaxy. Whispers of the people on countless worlds. Whispers grew into stories. In a marketplace under twin suns, a child asked, "Who are the humans?" And the elder replied, "The ones who waited, the ones who woke." On icy colonies, workers told one another. They destroyed fleets with one strike. If they wanted, they could destroy us all. And on rich Federation planets where arrogance had once filled the streets, even the powerful spoke cautiously. "Do not speak of them too loudly. The humans are listening." In less than a generation, the galaxy that had laughed at humanity now told ghost stories about them. The broken council. The Galactic Council never recovered. Each faction blamed the other for the assassination that had started it all. Old allies turned suspicious. Some sought peace with Earth, others plotted revenge, but none trusted each other again. The chamber that once roared with pride was now half empty, its banners torn, its leaders divided, and every debate ended the same way, with silence, with the unspoken fear of what humanity might do if they moved against them again. Humanity's choice. On Earth's flagship, the Admiral stood before a wide window of stars. Around him, his officers waited for new orders. "Do we strike the Council homeworld?" one asked. "Do we burn their fleets to ash?" another whispered. But the Admiral shook his head slowly. "No, that is not our way. We do not conquer for glory. We do not slaughter for pride. We strike only when betrayed. We strike only when the galaxy forgets who we are." He looked at the glowing blue Earth far below, its oceans shimmering like jewels. "We waited 870,000 years. We can wait longer. Let them live with fear. Let them tell their children why the stars are quieter now." His officers bowed their heads. The silence of vengeance was complete. The birth of a legend time passed, but the story did not fade. In academies, cadets studied the battle where humanity crushed the Federation's greatest armada. Teachers told them, "Do not underestimate silence." In villages on forgotten moons, children whispered at night, "If you betray them, the humans will come, and they will not miss." The Federation's historians tried to erase the tale, but it only grew stronger, spreading like fire in dry grass. The humans were no longer a people. They were a warning. The message in the stars. Then one day, the humans spoke again. Not to the Council, not to the rulers, but to the entire galaxy. A single transmission echoed across every channel, carried on every frequency. It was not long. It was not dramatic. It said, "You thought us gone. You thought us weak, but we are awake, and the galaxy will never be the same again." The message ended. Silence followed. And in that silence, the galaxy trembled more than it ever had during war. Closing scene. From the dark edges of space, human fleets began to withdraw, fading into the void. Their engines dimmed, their hulls vanished among the stars, but no one dared to celebrate. No one dared to believe it was over, because every empire, every soldier, every child knew the truth. The humans had awakened. They had shown their strength, and they had chosen silence. The silence was worse than war because it meant only one thing: humanity could return at any moment, and when they did, the galaxy would remember why their name had become legend.